Hi, I'm Danielle Diamond, founder of Zen Strength Yoga, and today I want to share with you some of my favorite alignment tips in bridge pose and then show you how to build more strength by adding weights, so have a light pair nearby. Bridge pose in itself is full of benefits, but when you add weights to strengthen the upper body, it takes it to a whole other level. It stretches the chest, neck, spine, and hips while strengthening the back, glutes, and hamstrings. It also improves blood circulation and stimulates the abdominal organs, lungs, and thyroid. If that weren't enough, it also calms the brain and central nervous system and reduces backaches and headaches, especially if you hold it for a long amount of time with a block under your sacrum in a restorative version, which I'll show you. So you want to start by lying on your back with your feet hip distance apart. The real distance, not how wide you think your hips are. So make sure your feet are in alignment with your hips and lower down onto your back. Make sure your chin is reaching up toward the ceiling and your chin isn't tucked. You want to make sure you keep the throat nice and open. So with your feet as close to your seat as you can get them, bring your palms face one another with your elbows bent, fingertips up toward the ceiling. And then plug your elbows down to just give yourself a little lift in the chest, okay? Then lower your palms down and keep pressing your shoulders down into the mat. And then take a deep breath in as you press your palms and feet into the floor, lift up your hips, okay? So you wanna make sure when you come up that you're not clenching your butt, because that's the inclination you wanna clench to lift your hips. The pelvis is the heaviest bone in the body, no matter how big you are, but you wanna use the muscles in your core and your quads to lift up, and again, not those butt muscles clenching. So lift up, and then you can interlace your hands underneath your back if that works for you. If not, you could just keep your palms here. Interlacing them just gives a little bit more openness in the shoulders, right? But you could be here and that's fine. So again, you want to root all four corners of the feet down and then engage your core and your quads to lift the hips up so that you're not just sagging down here and putting pressure on your low back. You want to try and lift the hips as much as you can. Keep that chin up toward the ceiling. So if this is too hard for you to hold, you could take your block and bring it underneath your sacrum and just stay here in a restorative version. Again, palms on the floor or palms around the block. And this is a really, really nice restorative pose, okay? You can stay here for 5 minutes if you want, right? And this is a great pose to incorporate any pranayama practice that you might have because the chest is nice and open and the lungs can fully expand within the rib cage here, okay? So again, you could stay here for a couple minutes if you want. If you aren't using the block and you're in bridge pose using your muscles to hold you up, again, you could stay here 5, 10, 15 breaths, maybe if that works for you. But again, just keep engaging your core and your quads and lift up and make sure that that chin isn't tucking into the chest, that your throat is nice and open, okay? And then slowly just release to come down and press the low back into the mat just to release the spine there, okay? So that's a regular version of bridge. I'm gonna show you a version with the weights. So you wanna keep your feet hip distance apart and grab the weights together. I usually use about 6 pounds. These are only about 2 or 3 here, but whatever works for you. And you can even just use one weight instead if you're just starting. But you're gonna bring the weights overhead here. Take a deep breath in, and then on the exhale, you're gonna lift your hips and bring the weights toward the pelvis. And then inhale, slowly lower the hips, bring the arms over. Exhale, lift. Inhale, lower them down. Exhale, lift, and just bring them toward your pelvis. Good, couple more here just to show you that action. So again, you're really driving the heels down as you lift your pelvis up and working your triceps here and your shoulders as you bring the weights over and bring them back down. All right, so as you can see when you are stretching, bridge pose is a great way just to build endurance and engage your core and build strength in the legs as well. But once you add the weights, you can also add that extra strength in the upper body and even more core work by lifting and lowering your hips. So I hope you enjoyed that version of bridge with the weights and the alignment instruction without. For more videos like this with alignment tips and a 30-minute free yoga with weights video, go to my website, zenstrength.com. Have a great day.